The night was calm, painted in shades of silver and blue. Tiny clouds drifted lazily across the face of the moon, and the world seemed to be holding its breath. Deep inside the sleepy town of Wellimere, a little girl named Elara lay in her small wooden bed, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling that glimmered faintly from the moonlight snaking through her curtains. Elara was not like most children. While others dreamed of toys or candy, she dreamed of faraway stars, of glowing forests, and of talking winds. Her grandmother used to tell her stories about the dream tree, a magical tree that grew at the center of the world, its roots reaching into every dream, its branches holding the colors of imagination itself. Every dream you have, Grandma would whisper, comes from one of its leaves. But tonight, something was different. Elara could hear something, a whisper, soft as the wind, faint as a sigh. Elara. She sat up quickly, clutching her blanket. Elara. The voice came again, gentle, but filled with sadness. She turned toward the window. The moonlight shimmered brighter, forming the faint outline of a tree made of pure light just outside her window. Its branches moved as if waving at her. Elara gasped. Are you the dream tree? She whispered. The tree's light flickered once, like a nod. I can't hold on much longer, the voice said, echoing in her mind. Dreams are fading. The colors are leaving the skies. The laughter of children grows dim. Elara's heart pounded. What can I do? She asked, stepping closer to the window. Follow the lights, said the voice. 7 lands await, each with a spark I have lost. And then, as suddenly as it appeared, the glowing tree faded away. Elara stood there, trembling and excited all at once. Her hands tingled, and when she looked down, she saw a tiny seed of light resting in her palm, warm and alive. What is this? The beginning, whispered the fading voice. She didn't know how or why, but she knew she had to go. Elara tiptoed to her wardrobe, pulled out her small adventure satchel, the one she used when pretending to be an explorer in the garden, and placed the glowing seed inside. She threw on her soft blue cloak and tied her hair with a ribbon shaped like a star. As she opened her window, a gentle breeze swirled around her. The moon shimmered brighter, and a bridge of light began to appear, stretching from her window into the endless sky. Her eyes widened with wonder. She took one deep breath and whispered, I'm coming, dream tree. And then she stepped onto the bridge. The moment her foot touched the light, the world changed. The stars spun around her like dancers, the wind sang like a lullaby, and beneath her feet, the light pulsed like a heartbeat. Then whoosh, she was lifted off the ground, carried through the night sky faster than she could blink. She passed silver rivers of clouds, glowing mountains that floated in the air, and golden butterflies that shimmered like tiny suns. Finally, she slowed down, landing softly on a field that sparkled like morning dew. She was no longer in Wellimere. She was in the land of the first dream, a place where the grass whispered lullabies, and the sky shimmered with ribbons of light. But something felt wrong. The colors were pale, the air was heavy, and in the distance, she saw a massive shadow covering what looked like a garden made of stars. Elara clutched her satchel and whispered, so this is where my journey begins. She didn't notice the small creature watching her from behind a glowing mushroom with golden fur, long ears, and eyes that shimmered like melted honey. The creature tilted its head and murmured, another dreamer has come. Elara took a cautious step forward, her boots sinking softly into the shimmering grass. The air smelled like rain and starlight, sweet but somehow sad. She could hear distant humming like a song half remembered from a dream. Then came a rustle. Elara spun around. Who's there? From behind a mushroom taller than herself, the small creature stepped out, slowly, carefully. It had fur that shimmered golden under the dreamlight, a tail that curled like a vine, and eyes so bright they looked like 2 drops of sunlight. Don't be afraid, Elara whispered, kneeling down. I won't hurt you. The creature blinked, tilted its head, and sniffed the air. Then, to her surprise, it spoke not with its mouth, but with its mind. You smell like starlight, said the creature, its voice echoing inside her thoughts. And you carry a seed of the dream tree. Elara's eyes widened. You can speak, not always, it replied proudly. Only when the stars listen. I am Nilo, guardian of the first dream. Guardian, Elara asked. Then maybe you can help me. The dream tree is fading. I'm here to bring back its light. Nilo's ears drooped slightly. I know. The colors have been disappearing. The garden that once bloomed with rainbow light has turned gray. The first dream is dying. Elara felt a lump in her throat. Then we have to save it. Where is the garden? Nilo turned, pointing his paw toward the horizon. There, he said softly. In the distance, Elara saw what looked like a vast garden, once bright, now drowned in shades of silver and gray. The flowers hung low, their petals pale, and the fountains that should have sung with liquid light were frozen still. Together, Elara and Nilo walked toward it. The closer they came, the quieter the world became, until the only sound left was their own footsteps. When they reached the gates, Nilo placed his tiny paw on the cold metal vines that formed the entrance. Only dreamers can open this, he said. Close your eyes, Elara. Imagine what color feels like. She hesitated but obeyed. She thought of sunsets that turned the sky orange and pink. She thought of spring flowers, of paint on paper, of her grandmother's rainbow shawl. And when she opened her eyes, the gate glowed, humming softly. It unfolded like a blooming flower, revealing the garden of lost colors. But the beauty that lay beyond was only a memory. The trees were gray, their leaves falling like ashes. The fountains were cracked, the pools dull and lifeless. In the center stood a crystal orb, faintly glowing, but its light flickered weakly, like a candle about to die. "That's the heart of colors," whispered Nilo. "If it stops glowing completely, the dream tree will lose the power of imagination." Elara stepped closer. "How can we fix it?" Before Nilo could answer, a dark wind swept through the garden. The ground trembled. Shadows rose like smoke, swirling around the crystal orb. "Elara, step back," cried Nilo. The shadows gathered into a shape, tall, thin, and whispering. Its voice was cold as stone. "I am the keeper of forgetting," it hissed. "Dreams fade because mortals forget. Why should color remain when the world no longer imagines?" Elara's heart raced. "Because dreams matter. Because without them, we lose hope." The shadow laughed. "Hope is a fragile thing." It reached toward the crystal orb. The light dimmed. Nilo leaped forward, claws glowing gold, but the shadow knocked him aside like a gust of wind. Elara clenched her fists. She could feel warmth inside her satchel, the tiny seed of light she carried. It pulsed stronger, as if responding to her courage. Without thinking, she pulled it out. The moment the seed touched the air, it began to glow brighter and brighter, until even the shadow recoiled. Elara raised it high. "You may take colors from dreams, but not from me." "I remember." The seed burst open, releasing a wave of golden light. It spread across the garden, washing over the gray trees, the dull flowers, the frozen fountains. The shadow screamed, fading like smoke in the wind. And suddenly, color returned. Red roses glowed with the warmth of sunrise. Blue lilies shimmered like the ocean. The fountains sang again, spilling liquid rainbows into the air. The heart of colors flared, glowing pure and strong. Nilo opened his eyes, stunned. "You did it? You brought color back." Elara smiled, her heart racing. "No, we did." The seed in her hand now looked smaller, dimmer, as if part of its light had been used. But in its place, a single petal of rainbow light drifted toward her, settling softly into her satchel. Nilo bowed his head. "You have restored the first dream. The path to the next land will open soon." "How will I find it?" she asked. "The winds will guide you," he said. "But beware, the shadows will not stop. Each land has its own keeper of loss." Elara looked around the revived garden one last time. The air now sang with color and hope. Then a breeze swirled around her, lifting her gently into the air. Nilo waved from below. "Remember, Elara, dreamers never walk alone." As the wind carried her upward, she saw the garden shrink below her, now blooming once more. A golden path unfolded in the sky, leading to the second land. Elara clutched her satchel and whispered, "Dream tree, I'm coming." The stars parted ahead, revealing a shimmering ocean made of glass and moonlight. Her next destination awaited. The wind carried Elara high above the glowing clouds, through veils of silver mist that whispered her name. The golden path beneath her shimmered and curved, leading her toward a vast horizon that glittered like liquid glass. She landed gently on the soft edge of a shore made entirely of moonlight. The air here was cool and calm, and the waves sang not in words, but in melodies. Each wave that touched the sand released a hum, like a lullaby forgotten long ago. Elara stood in awe. This must be the sea of forgotten songs. The sea stretched endlessly, its surface glowing with soft blues and silvers. Tiny lights floated on it like musical notes drifting across a page. But something felt incomplete, as if a great silence had swallowed the heart of the music. She listened closely. Beneath the hums and sighs of the sea, she heard something faint. A cry. "Hello," she called out. "Is someone there?" Her voice echoed softly across the waves, and to her surprise, the water rippled in response. A shimmering fin broke the surface, followed by a creature unlike any she had ever seen. It was part dolphin, part bird, with wings made of water and eyes that sparkled like silver bells. "Who dares call to the quiet sea?" The creature sang. Its voice was both gentle and sorrowful. "My name is Elara," she said. "I'm on a journey to restore the dream tree. I've come to find the lost spark of this place." The creature tilted its head, its watery wings glistening. "The dream tree. Yes. Its melody once flowed through these waters. But now, silence rules. The keeper of echoes has stolen the heart of song. Then I'll help you take it back," Elara said without hesitation. The creature's eyes softened. "You are brave, little dreamer. I am Lyra, guardian of the sea. But even I cannot face the keeper alone. The deeper you go, the quieter the world becomes. And in silence, you forget who you are." Elara looked down at the seed's glow faintly shining through her satchel. "Then I'll hold on to this light. As long as it shines, I'll remember." Lyra gave a slow nod and extended a fin. "Then climb upon my back. We will dive together." Elara held tight as Lyra leapt into the sea. The water wasn't cold. It felt like swimming through a dream. Soft notes floated around them like bubbles. Fragments of songs once sung by dreamers long ago. But as they dove deeper, the notes grew dim. The water turned darker, the melodies fainter. Elara shivered. "It's so quiet." Lyra whispered, "Do not let the silence take you. Sing, Elara, anything you remember." Elara hesitated. I don't know any songs. Yes, you do, said Lyra. Even your heart hums when you are brave. So Elara began to hum softly, a tune she didn't recognize, but one that felt familiar, warm, and kind. The melody shimmered through the water like golden light, wrapping around them both. The sea stirred, responding to her voice. Then, ahead, they saw it, a great coral palace made of crystal and shadow. At its center floated a dark figure with eyes like empty mirrors, the keeper of echoes. Its voice slithered through the water, hollow and cold. So another dreamer dares to sing in my silence. Foolish child songs fade, memories drown. Soon, you will forget why you came. Elara's heart pounded. I won't forget. I came to bring music back. The keeper stretched out its long arms, and waves of darkness pulsed through the sea. The melody in Elara's throat faltered. She felt her mind grow heavy, her name slipping away, her purpose fading. But then, from deep within the darkness, she heard another sound, faint but real. It was Lyra singing. Her voice shimmered like 1,000 raindrops. Elara, she sang, remember the dream? Elara gasped and clutched her satchel. The seed glowed again, bright and strong. Her memory came rushing back. Her room, her grandmother's stories, the dream tree's whisper. She sang again, louder this time. Her voice joined Lyra's, and together they filled the sea with music. The dark waves trembled. The keeper screamed, clutching its head as light poured from every corner of the ocean. One by one, the forgotten songs returned. Lullabies, laughter, melodies of joy and sorrow. The sea blazed with color and sound, and the coral palace shattered into shimmering dust. The keeper vanished into the current, leaving behind a single glowing shell that drifted toward Elara. Lyra bowed her head. The heart of song is yours. You have restored what was lost. Elara caught the shell gently, feeling its pulse, soft, rhythmic, alive. But what happens to the songs now? She asked. They live again, Lyra said. Every time a child hums before sleep, every time a heart dares to dream, the sea will remember. Elara smiled, tears sparkling in her eyes. Thank you, Lyra. The sea began to swirl with light, forming a spiral of golden bubbles around them. Lyra looked at her with kindness. The winds call you onward, dreamer. The next land awaits, the desert of endless time. Elara climbed onto Lyra's back once more. The guardian rose through the waves, carrying her toward the surface. As they broke through, the moon above blazed bright, and the sea beneath sang once more. Elara turned, waving as Lyra dove back into the glowing waters. I'll never forget your song. A warm wind gathered around her, forming another luminous bridge through the sky, this time leading to a horizon made of sand and starlight. She took a deep breath. Onward, she whispered, for the dream tree, and with that, she stepped forward into the light. When Elara stepped onto the new bridge of light, the air changed. The soft scent of sea salt and melody faded, replaced by the warm, dry breath of wind carrying grains of golden sand. Before her stretched a vast desert, not dull or empty, but shimmering under a sky that looked like melted amber. The dunes sparkled like powdered sunlight. Every ripple of sand moved as though time itself breathed through it. Elara shaded her eyes and whispered, the desert of endless time. The wind replied in faint whispers, voices echoing through the dunes. Some sounded like laughter, others like sighs. Elara began to walk. Her boots sank softly into the sand. Each step she took left behind faint footprints that glowed for a moment before fading completely. Hours might have passed, or maybe minutes. Time felt strange here. The sun didn't move. Her thoughts drifted. She almost forgot why she was walking until she touched her satchel and felt the faint warmth of the dream seed. Its glow reminded her who she was. Suddenly, from the top of a dune, something shimmered, a figure cloaked in gold, standing perfectly still. Hello, Elara called out. The figure didn't move. But when she reached the top of the dune, she realized it wasn't a person. It was a clock made of sand, shaped like a human silhouette. Its heart ticked softly with light, and around it, thousands of similar figures stood frozen across the desert, each one slightly different, tall, small, some holding hourglasses, others resting like statues. A voice drifted on the wind. They are the keepers of time's echo. Once every grain of sand here carried a memory, but now the memories have stopped flowing. Elara turned around. Behind her stood a tall woman made entirely of glass and sunlight. Her hair shimmered with silver dust, and her eyes reflected the stars. Who are you? Elara asked, amazed. I am Serafi, guardian of the desert, the woman said softly. And you, little dreamer, walk where time forgets itself. Elara looked around at the silent statues. Are they asleep? Not asleep, said Serafi, trapped. The keeper of clocks has stolen the sands of memory. Without it, time cannot move forward or back. Dreams remain frozen. Elara frowned. Then I'll get the sands back. Serafi's lips curved into a sad smile. Many have tried, but the keeper lives inside the hourglass tower, where every step ages you. Few reach its top. Elara looked down at her hands. If I don't go, the dream tree will fade. I have to try. The guardian nodded slowly. Then you must take this. She reached into the air and drew out a small hourglass glowing with blue light. When you flip it, time will pause, but only once. Use it wisely. Elara took it carefully. Thank you. Remember, said Serafi, her voice fading like the wind. Courage does not stop time, it moves through it. Elara set off toward the distant horizon where a tall, shimmering tower rose like a mirage. The closer she came, the heavier her steps felt. The air shimmered thickly, and she began to feel older, not in body, but in spirit. Memories flashed through her mind. Her first day at school, her grandmother's voice, the first time she saw snow. Each memory slowed her pace, as if time itself wanted to keep her still. At last, she reached the base of the hourglass tower. It was made of transparent stone, filled with countless clocks and shifting sands that flowed upward instead of down. At its top, she could see a small, glowing sphere, the sands of memory. Elara began to climb the spiraling staircase. Each step made her feel heavier. Her reflection in the glass walls changed. She looked older, taller, as though growing up before her own eyes. Her heart pounded. I can't stop now. Then, from above, a deep, ticking voice echoed. So, another dreamer dares disturb time. Elara looked up. A massive clockwork creature descended, its body made of gears, its eyes spinning with golden light. I am the keeper of clocks, it said. Dreams are fleeting. Time devours them all. Why fight the inevitable? Elara's voice trembled, but she stood tall. Because even if dreams fade, they give meaning to the moments we live. The keeper laughed, its gears grinding loudly. Then face eternity. The tower shook. Sand began pouring down the walls, swirling around her like a storm. Elara stumbled and then remembered the hourglass Seraphi had given her. She flipped it. Instantly, the world froze. The sand stopped midair. The ticking fell silent. Even the keeper stood motionless, its gears suspended in stillness. Elara gasped. It worked. Moving through the frozen storm, she climbed the final steps toward the glowing sphere. It pulsed with tiny lights, fragments of countless memories. Laughter, tears, goodbyes, beginnings. She touched it gently. The dream seed in her satchel glowed in answer, its light merging with the sands of memory. Time resumed. A blinding flash filled the tower. The keeper roared, but not in anger. In relief, I remember, it whispered. I was once a dream of forever, but I forgot. Its gears slowed, and it bowed its head before fading into motes of light. The sands of memory flowed downward, spreading across the desert. Outside, the statues of time began to move again, the figures stretching, breathing, whispering softly. Seraphi appeared once more, her eyes shining. You have done what no dreamer could. Time moves once again. Elara smiled, though she felt a strange ache in her chest, as if she had lived 1,000 years in one breath. The guardian touched her shoulder. Every moment matters, even the smallest one. You carry their memory now. A tiny hourglass charm formed in Elara's satchel, glowing beside the seed and the shell she had collected before. The wind rose, swirling golden sand into a spiral that reached the stars. It is time, said Seraphi. The next land awaits, the forest of forgotten faces. Elara took one last look at the shimmering desert, now alive, shifting, breathing. Then she stepped into the spiral, vanishing into the light. When the golden sands of the desert of endless time faded from beneath her feet, Elara found herself standing at the edge of a forest. But this was unlike any forest she had ever seen. The trees were tall and silver, their leaves transparent like glass. They made no sound when the wind passed through, not even a whisper. The air felt heavy, full of memories she couldn't quite reach. She took a cautious step forward. The ground was soft, covered in moss that glowed faintly under her boots. Hello, she called. Her voice echoed back, but it sounded strange, like someone else repeating her words a second too late. Her stomach tightened. Then, from the shadows between the trees, faces began to appear, not carved or drawn, but formed in the bark and leaves. They were faint, like foggy reflections, shifting and vanishing when she tried to focus on them. Some looked sad, others confused. None spoke. Elara clutched her satchel. This must be the forest of forgotten faces. The wind stirred and one of the tree faces blinked slowly. Its eyes glowed with a dim blue light. A voice, old and trembling, came from nowhere and everywhere at once. They are the ones forgotten by their own dreams. Without memory of who they are, they fade into the trees. Elara turned around and saw a creature unlike any she'd met before. It was tall and slender, its body woven from vines and moonlight. Its face was hidden behind a mask shaped like a half-smiling, half-weeping face. Who are you? Elara asked. I am Miro, the guardian of reflections, said the creature, bowing gently. I protect the forgotten, those who have lost their names, their feelings, their truth. Elara's voice softened. Can they be saved? Miro tilted its masked head. Perhaps, but the keeper of masks has stolen the pool of memory, where souls remember who they are. Without it, faces fade forever. Elara's heart ached. She looked around at the silent forest. Then I'll find it. I'll bring it back. Miro's voice deepened. Be careful, dreamer. The keeper hides among the forgotten, and he can wear any face, even yours. Elara walked deeper into the forest. The trees grew denser, and mist began to curl around her like smoke. Each step echoed softly, and sometimes, just for a moment, she thought she saw herself walking beside her, only to vanish again. She came upon a clearing where a mirror stood tall and cracked in the center. Its surface shimmered faintly, showing glimpses of faces that weren't hers. Smiling children, crying mothers, laughing strangers. She approached it carefully. "Who are you showing me?" she whispered. The mirror rippled, and suddenly her reflection smiled, but she hadn't moved. She froze. Then, her reflection stepped out of the mirror. It looked exactly like her. Same hair, same eyes, same cloak. But its smile was wrong. It was too wide, too still. "I'm you," said the reflection sweetly. "Or rather, what you could be, if you stopped caring so much." Elara's heart pounded. "You're the keeper." The reflection's smile deepened. "Perhaps. Or perhaps I'm the part of you that wants to stop trying. It's easier to forget. Easier to rest." It took a step closer. "Why fight for dreams that will fade anyway? Why keep walking, when you could stay here and forget the pain of trying?" Elara backed away, shaking her head. "Because if I forget, then everyone will. The dream tree needs me." The reflection's eyes glowed with cold blue fire. "Then you choose to suffer. So be it." It raised its hand, and the ground cracked open. Shadows poured out, swirling like smoke around the clearing. The mirror behind it shattered, raining down shards of glass that froze midair, each reflecting Elara's face in a different expression. Fear, anger, sadness, doubt. Elara fell to her knees, clutching her head as whispers filled her mind. "You can't save anyone. You're just a dreamer. Dreams always end." Her breath came in gasps. Her light, the seed's glow, began to dim. Then she heard a faint sound, a melody. It was soft, familiar Lyra's song, from the sea. And behind it, the sound of time's ticking from the desert, steady and strong. She looked up, the light inside her satchel shimmered, warm and alive. "I am Elara," she whispered. "I remember who I am." The seed flared bright, casting light across the clearing. The shadows screamed, recoiling. The false reflection covered its eyes. "No, you can't." Elara reached out, touching the mirror shards suspended in the air. Each one glowed as her fingers brushed it, showing faces of people she had seen, dreamers, guardians, and forgotten souls. "You don't have to be afraid," she said softly. "You're not forgotten." The reflection stared at her, trembling. Its cruel smile faded, its form flickered, and in its place stood a frightened child. I didn't want to disappear," it whispered. Elara knelt down and hugged it. "You don't have to. You're part of the dream too." The child smiled weakly and turned into light, floating upward. The forest brightened, the trees sighed, their faces softening, colors returning to the bark. The mist cleared, and at the heart of the clearing, a small silver pool reappeared, shimmering with countless reflections. Miro appeared beside her, the pool of memory. "You restored it." Elara wiped a tear from her cheek. "They'll remember who they are now." The guardian bowed deeply. "And so will you, dreamer. For every soul you save, your own grows brighter." From the pool, a small droplet of silver light rose and drifted into her satchel, joining the others. Elara stood, breathing deeply. 3 lands restored. 4 more to go. Miro's voice echoed softly. "Then follow the river beyond the forest. It will lead you to the city of sleeping stars." Elara turned toward the horizon, where a faint glow shimmered through the trees. She smiled. "Then that's where I'll go." As she stepped into the light, the forest behind her whispered in 1,000 voices, "Remember us, dreamer?" And she did. The forest faded into silver mist, and when Elara stepped through it, she found herself standing on a wide stone bridge made of moonlight. Below it, a river flowed, but not of water. It shimmered with liquid starlight, each ripple reflecting a different dream. The air was cool and still, filled with the faint hum of something ancient. Far beyond the bridge, she could see the outline of tall towers glowing faintly, as though the stars themselves had come down to rest on their rooftops. "This must be the city of sleeping stars," she whispered. As she walked, the river whispered beside her, murmuring soft words in a language she couldn't understand. Yet somehow, she felt its meaning, sadness, longing, and a gentle plea to be remembered. When she reached the end of the bridge, she stepped into a city of glass and silver. The streets were empty, the lamps dim. Statues stood everywhere, not of stone, but of pure light frozen in time. Each statue looked like a person gazing upward toward the sky, their hands outstretched as if reaching for something they had lost. Elara touched one gently. It was cold, silent. Just then, a small voice spoke. "Don't wake them. They're sleeping." Elara turned and saw a tiny creature floating nearby. It looked like a star with little arms and a sleepy face. Its glow flickered softly, like a candle about to go out. "Who are you?" she asked. "I'm Nuven," said the creature, yawning midair. "I take care of the sleeping stars. But they've been asleep for so long now, I can't wake them anymore." Elara knelt, curious. Why did they fall asleep? Nuven's voice grew quiet. "Because people stopped wishing. The sky became too silent. Every star needs a wish to shine, and when no one wishes, they fall into slumber." Elara's heart ached. "Then they're trapped here, in their own dreams." Nuven nodded, yes. And the astral queen, who once guided the wishes, vanished. Without her, even the sky forgot how to listen. Elara stood, determination returning to her eyes. "Then I'll find the astral queen and wake the stars." Nuven blinked in surprise. "You'd really do that?" No one's entered the celestial tower in centuries. Lara smiled softly. Dreamers don't stop when something's hard. We keep walking. The little star brightens slightly. Then I'll help you. But be careful. The queen's sorrow turned into shadows. The more you go upward, the more they'll try to pull you down. Together, they crossed the silent streets. Every step echoed softly against the stone. Above, the sky was full of stars, but they didn't twinkle. They hung still, gray and distant. As they approached the center of the city, Elara saw it, the celestial tower, tall and spiraling into the sky. Its top was lost among the clouds, glowing faintly with pale blue light. The doors were enormous, engraved with constellations. But as Elara reached for them, they didn't open. Instead, the constellations began to move. The stars on the door rearranged themselves, forming shapes: a lion, a bird, a serpent, and finally, a heart. The heart pulsed once, and a voice spoke from within the door. To enter the Tower of Wishes, you must offer a dream not your own. Elara blinked. A dream not my own. Nuven floated closer. It means, you have to give a wish you've helped someone else believe in. Elara thought for a moment, then smiled. She reached into her satchel and pulled out a small silver droplet of light, one of the dreams she had gathered from the pool of memory. This belongs to the child in the forest, she whispered. The one who forgot who they were. I'll give this one. She placed it gently on the door. The light sank into the stone, and the constellations burst into color: gold, blue, and rose. The doors opened silently. Inside, a spiral staircase rose upward, its steps made of crystal and mist. Each time she took a step, she saw a flash of someone's dream: a sailor wishing for the sea to calm, a child wishing for a lost friend, a mother wishing for peace. The higher she climbed, the heavier the air became. Dark shapes began to form, shadows of forgotten wishes, whispering softly, "You can't wake them. Dreams die when no one remembers. Even the stars sleep forever." Elara clutched her chest, feeling the light from her satchel flicker. "Don't listen to them," said Nuven. "They're what's left of broken hopes. Keep climbing." Elara nodded and kept moving. The stairs wound higher and higher until they reached a great chamber filled with starlight. In the center sat a woman made of light and sorrow. Her hair flowed like a galaxy, her crown made of dying stars, the astral queen. Elara whispered. The queen opened her eyes slowly. "Why have you come, dreamer?" "To wake the sleeping stars," Elara said softly. "To remind them of the wishes they once carried." The queen's expression darkened. Wishes, they became burdens. People wish for love but cause pain. They wish for peace but create wars. I could no longer bear their noise. Elara stepped forward. But not all wishes hurt. Some heal, some bring hope. The queen's voice trembled. Hope is fragile. Elara smiled faintly. So are stars. But they still shine. The queen looked down, silent. Then, from her chest, a faint light pulsed, flickering weakly. Elara reached out her hand. "Let me help you remember." The queen hesitated. "And if it hurts?" Elara's eyes glowed softly. "Then I'll hurt with you." The queen's hand trembled, then took Elara's. In that instant, light exploded across the chamber. Visions filled the air, children making wishes on their birthdays, lovers sending lanterns into the sky, lonely hearts whispering to the stars at night. The queen gasped, tears of light falling down her cheeks. They still wish. Elara nodded. They always will, even when no one listens. The queen smiled faintly, her sorrow melting into light. Then, let the stars awaken. She lifted her hand, and the whole tower trembled. The ceiling dissolved, revealing the endless night sky. One by one, the stars began to blink awake, soft at first, then brighter and brighter, until the entire sky shimmered like 1,000 heartbeats. Nuven twirled with joy, his glow brilliant now. "They're awake. You did it." The queen looked at Elara, her eyes gentle. "No, we did." She placed her hand over Elara's satchel, and a star-shaped crystal formed, glowing golden. "Take this, dreamer. It will guide you to your next path." The Valley of Echoing Wings. Elara smiled, tears glistening in her eyes. "Thank you, Your Majesty." The queen's voice was soft. "And thank you for reminding me that hope can sleep, but never die." As Elara descended the tower, the city below shimmered with new life. The statues melted into radiant beings of starlight, dancing in the streets. The night sky above sang soft, warm, endless, and when Elara looked up, she whispered, "Thank you for staying awake." The stars still shimmered above her as Elara followed a narrow trail down from the city of sleeping stars. The starlit path twisted between mountains made of crystal and silence. The air grew cooler with every step, and even Nuven's glow began to dim. "Where are we now?" he whispered, floating closer to her shoulder. Elara looked ahead. Before them stretched a vast canyon wide, empty, and filled with a mist that moved like breath. Faintly, from deep within, came a sound like fluttering wings, and something else echoes. "This must be the Valley of Echoing Wings," Elara murmured. When she stepped inside, the sound of her footsteps multiplied, one step becoming 100 whispers. Her breath echoed back to her in strange ways. Sometimes it was her own voice she heard, but sometimes it wasn't. "Hello," she called. From the mist, her own voice answered. "Hello, who are you?" Elara frowned. "I'm Elara. Are you sure?" the echo asked. She froze. The mist thickened, swirling around them. Wings beat above. Huge, soft, invisible. Nuven hid behind her hair, trembling. Elara, this place is strange. It feels alive. A deep, rolling voice filled the canyon. All who enter the valley must face the sound of their own heart. Elara swallowed hard. Who are you? The mist parted, revealing a massive creature. It was shaped like a bird, but its feathers were made of shadow and silver dust. Its eyes shone like twin moons, vast and sorrowful. I am Arender, keeper of the echoes, it said. I guard the valley where fear takes flight. Elara stepped forward. I'm on a journey to heal the dream tree. I've come for your guidance. Arender tilted its head slowly. Then you must listen to what hides beneath your courage. Only when you hear your truest fear can you fly beyond it. The wind rose, and thousands of invisible wings beat around her. Arender spread its enormous wings, and the mist spiraled into shapes, shadows of memories, each whispering her name. Go, said Arender. Face the sound of your fear. Elara walked into the mist. It wrapped around her, thick and heavy. Soon she couldn't see Nuven, or even her own hands. Then came the first voice. You'll fail, it whispered softly. You'll try, and nothing will change. Elara's breath caught. That's not true. Another voice followed. Older, colder. You think you're strong because you care, but caring only hurts you. She covered her ears, trembling. Stop. The mist swirled faster, and her own reflection appeared before her. But this time, it was T, the keeper from before. It was herself, tired and broken, eyes filled with tears. Why do you keep going? The reflection asked gently. You're just a little girl. No one asked you to fix the world. Elara's lips trembled. Because if I don't, who will? The reflection tilted its head. Maybe the dream tree doesn't need you. Maybe it's already gone. The mist grew darker. The ground beneath her seemed to vanish. All around, wings beat in chaos, fear, doubt, failure, loss. Elara sank to her knees, hands pressed to her chest. I'm not strong enough. Then she heard another sound. Faint, trembling, but real. It was a heartbeat, not hers. She looked up. From within the mist, a small pale bird fluttered weakly. Its wings were torn, and its eyes were full of sadness. Arender's voice echoed softly, distant but kind. That is your fear, dreamer? It has no voice but yours. What will you do with it? Elara reached out her hand. You're afraid too, aren't you? The bird shivered, its feathers trembling. I've been afraid of failing, she whispered. Afraid that all of this, the dreams, the light, the people, might fade before I can save them. But I think being brave doesn't mean never being afraid. It means holding your fear close and walking anyway. She cradled the small bird gently. It blinked once, then twice, and a soft glow spread through its wings. The mist brightened. The echoes softened. Her reflection smiled, truly smiled, before fading into light. The little bird grew brighter, until it became pure light and merged with her chest. The heartbeat within her grew stronger. Arender appeared again, wings outstretched like a night sky alive with stars. You have faced your echo, he said, and your courage sings truer than fear. The mist lifted, revealing the valley in all its beauty, thousands of glowing birds rising into the air, their feathers trailing golden sparks. Each bird sang a different note, and together they formed a harmony so pure that the stones of the canyon shimmered. Elara stood still, eyes wide. It's beautiful. Arender bowed his great head. There the fears that dreamers have released turned into wings of light. A small, glowing feather drifted down and landed in her palm. It pulsed gently, warm, and alive. Take this, said Arender. It will light your path through darkness. Your next journey lies where the sky meets the sea, in the Isle of Silent Tides. Elara smiled through tears. Thank you, Arender, for helping me listen. The great bird spread its wings once more, sending a breeze across the valley that carried her upward. As she rose toward the horizon, the glowing birds followed, their wings echoing softly like distant lullabies. And for the first time, Elara felt no fear at all. When the winds of the valley faded, Elara found herself standing at the edge of a vast ocean. The waters stretched endlessly, black as ink but glowing faintly beneath its surface, as though stars had fallen into it and never returned. The air was utterly still, no waves, no sound. Even her footsteps made no echo. Nuven, the little star, floated beside her, dimmer than usual. This place feels empty, he whispered. Elara nodded slowly. It's not empty, she said. It's waiting. A narrow bridge of stone led out across the silent water. With every step, Elara could see faint lights moving below, shapes like memories, shimmering beneath the surface. Halfway across, she saw a figure sitting at the edge of the bridge. It was a girl about her age, wearing a cloak of silver threads. She had her feet dipped into the water, watching the reflections below. Elara hesitated, then approached. Hello. The girl didn't turn. You can speak, she said softly. That means you haven't been here long. Elara frowned. Who are you? The girl sighed. My name was Saren once. I came here to listen to the ocean's dreams. But after a while, the silence never stops. Elara sat beside her. The air around them felt heavy, not sad, just full of waiting. What is this place? Elara asked. The Isle of Silent Tides, said Saren. It's where lost words go. Every unspoken wish, every goodbye that was never said, sinks here. The ocean remembers them, even when no one else does. Elara's heart tightened. She looked down and saw faint images swirling beneath the water. A child reaching for a parent, a friend waving goodbye, a hand releasing another. Why is it silent? She whispered. Saren smiled sadly. Because no one dares to speak. If you do, the ocean will answer with the truth you've been avoiding. Nuven hid behind Elara's shoulder. Maybe we shouldn't, but Elara stood up. I didn't come all this way to stay quiet. She took a deep breath and called out to the ocean. Dream tree, can you hear me? For a moment, nothing happened. Then the water began to move slowly, silently, swirling into spirals that reflected the sky. A soft, deep voice rose from beneath the surface. Dreamer, why do you seek me? Ilara's eyes filled with tears. Because you're fading. And if you fade, the dreams of the world will vanish too. The voice rumbled gently, like the heartbeat of the sea. And what of your own dreams, little one? Do you remember them? Elara hesitated. She thought of her village, of the people who had forgotten how to dream, of the empty sky she once stared at night after night. I used to wish, she whispered, that I could make the world brighter, that people wouldn't give up so easily, but I was just a child. No one listened. The water shimmered. So you began to dream for them, the voice said. You carried others' wishes and forgot your own. Elara's throat tightened. Maybe I did. The sea's reflection shifted, and suddenly she saw herself younger, smaller, sitting under the dream tree as a gentle wind passed through its leaves. Her eyes were full of wonder. I wanted to build something, she said softly, a place where everyone could dream together, where no one felt alone. The ocean pulsed with faint light. Then speak it again. Dreamer, let your voice wake the tide. Elara took a step forward. The water reached her feet, cool, weightless, alive. She closed her eyes. I dream, she whispered, of a world where every heart remembers how to hope, where fear becomes courage, and loss becomes love. I dream of life. For the first time since she arrived, the ocean moved. A wave rose, slow, gentle, then powerful, swirling around her. Saren stood, watching in awe. You woke it. The wave circled Elara, glowing brighter until it burst into thousands of tiny droplets, each one holding a memory, a wish, a goodbye finally heard. From the center of the ocean, a crystal lotus bloomed, shining with soft blue light. The voice spoke again, tender and ancient. You have returned sound to silence. Take this, dreamer, the heart of the tides. A small pearl of glowing water floated toward her and settled in her palm. Elara looked down at it, smiling. Thank you. Saren's voice trembled. Will you take me with you? I think I forgot how to leave. Elara reached out her hand. Then hold on. We'll remember together. As Saren took her hand, the ocean rippled. The bridge behind them glowed, leading back to the horizon. They crossed together, and as they did, the silence lifted. The ocean began to hum softly, not words, but something deeper, forgiveness. When they reached the shore, Nuven hovered closer, brighter than before. You did it again, Elara. The ocean remembers. Elara looked out at the waves, now glowing gently in the starlight. So do I. Saren smiled faintly. Where will you go next? Elara turned her gaze upward. Beyond the horizon, clouds glowed faintly gold. Toward the dawn, she said. The dream tree is waiting. The sea's glow faded slowly behind her. Elara, Nuven, and Saren followed a path of light that rose higher and higher through mist, through clouds, through quiet air that shimmered with silver dust. The wind grew thin, and soon the world below disappeared entirely. They had reached the edge of the sky. But this was not the bright sky of morning, nor the peaceful sky of night. It was gray, vast, and endless, a place where dawn had never come. Nuven looked uneasy. Elara, this doesn't feel like any dream I've ever known. Saren wrapped her cloak tighter. The light is gone, but I can still feel it. Somewhere far beyond. Elara gazed upward. The clouds hung still, frozen like stone. Far ahead, a faint glow flickered and vanished again, like a heartbeat struggling to continue. That's where the dream tree is, she said quietly. It's fading. The three of them began to walk. But with every step, the light dimmed more, and the ground beneath them started to dissolve into shadow. Suddenly, a deep rumble echoed around them, a voice that was not cruel, but terribly tired. Little dreamer, why do you keep walking? Elara froze. Who's there? From the horizon, darkness began to move, not like mist, but like ink spilling across the sky. It took shape slowly, until a colossal figure emerged, a being made of shadow and broken starlight, its eyes hollow, yet endless. I am Noctira, it said. The dream tree's shadow. The silence that comes when all dreaming ends. Ilara's heart tightened. Then you're the one stealing the light. Noctira's voice rumbled like thunder. I am not stealing. I am what remains when hope runs out. Every dream cast aside becomes part of me. Every time someone stops believing, I grow. Saren stepped back, trembling. It's beautiful and terrible. Elara clenched her fists. Dreams don't end just because people forget them. The shadow tilted its head, don't they? Look around you. And when Elara looked, she saw beneath the clouds, empty cities, silent oceans, forests without color. A world where no one remembered how to dream. Noctira's voice softened. You've seen it, haven't you? In your own world. People who stop wishing, children who stop hoping. I am born from their silence. Ilara's throat ached. Then I'll change it. I'll bring the light back. The shadow leaned closer. And what will you give for it? Everything you've gathered. Everything you are. Ilara hesitated. The seed in her satchel glowed faintly, pulsing like a heart. Inside it lay all the light she had collected, all the lands, all the dreams, all the souls she had helped. She looked down at her hands, trembling. If that's what it takes, yes, Nuven gasped. Ilara, no, if you give that up. She smiled sadly. Then I'll just be a dream again, and that's okay. Because dreams are meant to be shared. Noctura's hollow eyes glimmered faintly. You would give your light. To me? Ilara took a step forward. Not to you. Through you. The shadow recoiled slightly. What do you mean? Ilara held the glowing seed high. Darkness isn't evil. It's only what light leaves behind. If I shine bright enough, even you will remember what you were before the silence. The wind roared, the sky cracked open with streaks of silver lightning. Noctura's voice deepened, trembling with something new, fear. If you fail, you will vanish. Everything you are will scatter. Ilara smiled. Then let me scatter, so something new can grow. She opened her hands, the seed burst into light. A wave of brilliance tore through the sky, pushing back the gray clouds, lighting every corner of the endless horizon. The shadow screamed, not in pain, but in release. Shapes began to appear inside the darkness. Faces, hands, voices, dreamers who had given up, now remembering again. Saren shielded her eyes, tears streaming down her face. Ilara, she's doing it. Nuven glowed brighter than ever. She's turning night into dawn. The light swirled around them, weaving patterns like constellations. And within it, Ilara's voice echoed softly. Dreams don't die, they wait. Even in the deepest dark, they wait. And when someone remembers, they rise again. The shadow's form began to dissolve, turning to silver mist that shimmered like morning dew. And from within its fading shape, something small and fragile emerged. A tiny sprout of glowing light. The dream tree. Its roots spread across the sky, reaching downward toward the world below. Its branches shimmered, dripping with stars. Saren fell to her knees, staring upward in awe. It's beautiful. But Ilara was nowhere to be seen. Only her cloak fluttered gently in the glowing wind. Nuven trembled. She gave everything. Saren placed her hand on the star's shoulder. Maybe she became part of the tree. Far below, in the waking world, a young child stirred in bed. He had fallen asleep long ago without a dream. But now, for the first time in years, he smiled in his sleep. Outside his window, the stars seemed a little brighter. And somewhere, in the space between sleep and waking, a gentle voice whispered, "Keep dreaming." For a long while, there was only silence. The kind of silence that comes after a storm, when even the wind seems to rest. Saren and Nuven stood beneath the glowing branches of the dream tree. Its light pulsed softly, filling the sky with warmth and color, a sunrise that had waited for eternity. The world below slowly came back to life. Rivers began to shimmer again, flowers unfolded, laughter drifted through once forgotten cities. Children opened their eyes to dreams that had been gone for years. The dream world breathed again. And at the very heart of the tree, where the light was brightest, a small shape began to form. At first it was just a flicker, a gentle outline made of pure starlight. Then a whisper came, soft as wind through leaves. Saren, Nuven, the fairy gasped, Ilara. The light grew stronger, swirling in soft gold and blue until it shaped itself into a small figure. Ilara stood there, glowing, her eyes full of the same wonder she'd carried since the beginning. Nuven flew around her, laughing through tears. You came back. You really came back. Ilara smiled, looking at her hands. They shimmered faintly, like part of her was still made of the dream tree's light. I think I'm both now, she said quietly. Dream and dreamer. Saren wiped her eyes. You saved all of this. You saved us. Ilara looked around at the endless branches stretching into the sky. I didn't save it alone. Every dream I found, every spark of hope, became part of this tree. I just helped it remember. They stood together beneath the tree, watching as new dreams were born, bubbles of light rising into the air, drifting toward sleeping children all over the world. Each bubble shimmered with tiny images. A child flying with dragons, another painting stars, another talking to the moon. Nuven watched in awe. They're dreaming again. Ilara nodded. And every time they dream, the tree grows stronger. Saren looked at her. What will you do now? Ilara gazed into the horizon, where the light faded into twilight. There are still places where the dark whispers, I'll go there, not to fight it, but to remind it that dawn always comes. The fairy placed her hand on Ilara's shoulder. Then you'll never be alone. Ilara smiled softly. No one who believes is ever alone. The dream tree rustled gently, its branches bending as though in blessing. Tiny motes of light drifted down, touching Ilora's hair like falling petals. As they sparkled, her voice grew soft, almost like a song. Sleep softly, dream brightly, for every night ends in light. Even when skies forget the dawn, the heart remembers how to shine. And with that, she turned, walking down the silver path that led away from the tree. Each step left behind a trail of shimmering dust, a promise that dreams would never be lost again. Saren and Nuven watched her go until she disappeared into the horizon. Then, somewhere far away in the waking world, children stirred in their beds, whispering her name without knowing why. Elara. Their dreams glowed a little warmer that night. The stars above blinked softly, like eyes watching with love. And at the very top of the dream tree, where the first light of dawn touched the highest branch, a voice barely a whisper echoed across the realms of sleep. Dream on. Epilogue. The world awakes, morning came gently. In a small house by the sea, a little girl opened her eyes. She didn't know it, but in her dream, she had met a girl named Elara, and together they had built castles of light. She smiled, feeling braver, lighter. The world outside her window seemed new again. As she got up, she noticed something strange, a single silver leaf lying on her pillow. When she picked it up, it shimmered once, then faded into her hand. And though she couldn't explain it, she whispered, "Thank you." Outside, the waves sparkled under the morning sun, and high above, invisible to waking eyes, the dream tree stretched its branches across the sky, glowing faintly, keeping watch. Every dream, every hope, every story, all part of one great light. And if you listen closely tonight, as you drift to sleep, you might still hear her voice, soft and far away, saying, "The dream tree grows in every heart that dares to dream." The end.